So one of my roommates, his aunt or uncle was getting married and they hired me to do photos for their wedding. I think I charged maybe $100 for a wedding.
Oh my God.
So this was, I think I shot on a Nikon D3300 or something. It was a really, I think it was like $300 camera or something like that.
Yeah.
But that was my first ever paid gig as a photographer.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey, what's going on?
I'm good. Sorry for all the wait and the delays and stuff like that.
No,
Apologies.
no worries. No worries. What's going
Um,
on?
so yeah, thank you for joining me.
Of
My
course.
podcast is called Socialcast. I started it during quarantine, and
Mhm.
the reason why I started it is obviously because of this. I can interact with anyone basically anywhere around the world, so
Yep.
and just get people to like stories basically, especially within a creative field. So I'm always intrigued to know how people get to where they're at and whatnot. So first of all, introduce yourself to the people that are listening.
Hi, I'm Carlo Stigliano. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I
No
appreciate it.
problem.
I am 22. I live in New Jersey. Um, I have been doing video, photo full time for about 2 years now, but I picked up a camera about 4 years ago.
Really? So you've
Um,
made some serious progress in that
Thank
time.
you. Um, yeah, I started in photography. I had a clothing company at a high school, and couldn't afford a photographer at the time, and I had this like cheap camera, so I started doing stuff on my own, and then slowly that kind of turned more into a passion that I was into than the clothing side.
Yeah.
Um,
Is
so
that clothing?
everything.
Is that clothing brand still going?
No, it got terminated due to like legal issues.
Ah, okay.
Something happened with it. But I ended up moving forward with the photography and video, which
Okay.
I'm stoked about.
That's interesting because my first question was, how did it all start? But I'm assuming that's how it
Hmm.
started. So then
Yeah.
from there, how did it progress? Like, what was your first paid job?
Oof. Okay. So my first paid job was so I went to college for about a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
I went for music because I was also into music since I was about 13, 14 years old. So I went for music engineer or audio engineering.
Cool.
So one of my roommates, his aunt or uncle was getting married and they hired me to do photos for their wedding. I think I charged maybe $100 for a wedding.
Oh my God.
So this was, I think I shot on a Nikon D3300 or something. It was a really, I think it was like $300 camera or something like that.
Yeah.
But that was my first ever paid gig as a photographer.
And then was it from that moment you thought, okay, well, I can actually start making a living from this, or was it like later on, or was that?
I think it was later on that I realized it's still like I try to think about it pretty often of like what point in my life did I actually realize? And I think it happened. I got introduced to these two people who were good friends of mine, and they owned a production company at the time. And when I got introduced to them, I pretty much interned for them for
Mm-hmm.
like 3 months or something. Like I traveled with them, went to work with them. I never got paid out of like 2 months, 3 months. I just did it out of passion. And I realized that they were making great money. They were having a great time. They love what they do. And I realized the more that I learned and the more I was getting better, I was like, this is something that I could actually see myself waking up and doing.
Yeah.
So from there on, I just made that a major priority.
That's sick, man. So from as a young creator, do you find it, especially with clients, do you find it harder to kind of, break into this industry? Because to be fair, I feel like it is changing a little bit because there's so many young creators now.
I completely agree. I
But
think it's almost to our advantage sometimes, as long as you present yourself and act in a manner of professionalism,
mhm,
and have a business mind. I don't think age really, as long as you're not like, I mean, I think if you're 12 and you go to a business, they'll probably have a problem with that.
yeah,
But like someone like me and you, we don't look like crazy young, but we're not super old either. But if
mhm,
we have a great portfolio, we present ourselves with actual material, we're
yeah,
professional. There's no reason they should discount us because of our age. There's no way.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's another question I like to ask. Like, did you ever go to college or uni to study this? Because I'm in two ways with this because I actually went to uni to study it, but I felt like I didn't need to go to uni to study
Mm,
it because it's one of those um, jobs where it's all about portfolio and what you do rather than what you know, because you can know
yeah,
everything, but if you're not putting anything to practice, what's
for
the point?
sure.
So,
Um, yeah, no, I think that's a battle that a lot of people face all the time. For me personally, I went to university for a year and a half, but I studied music and audio engineering, and
Yeah.
photography and video was kind of just on the side. It's not until I left school um, and I stopped music pretty much where I regained my passion for like photography and video. And
Hmm.
I essentially, like a lot of people, I attended like YouTube University. I'd say like I'm a graduate from YouTube University in a way. But a lot of it is just getting out and doing stuff. You got a lot of spec
100%.
projects. I create work so much, just like trying and practicing. It's
Yeah,
so crucial.
I actually follow your YouTube. That's why I got in touch. But
Oh, that's
it's good
awesome.
to
Thank you.
see. No, it's good to see, man. Like your work's awesome.
Thank you.
And I wanted to ask, what did you use before the Mini Ursa? Because that's my go-to camera right now. I really love
I
that
had
camera.
a Sony, I still have it, a Sony A7 III.
Okay, so how's the switch
Yeah.
been?
It was, it's a pretty decent jump. The
Mhm.
Sony is a beautiful camera. I'm not going to discount it all. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's pretty much everything I need.
Hmm.
Major reason why I got the Ursa was the way I wanted to go with my future and my career as a DP. I've worked on sets as being a PA before, and I've seen all these DPs. They all own like cinema cameras. They're all comfortable using that type of camera on like bigger commercial documentaries, narrative stuff. Um, and at the time, my business was doing okay, so I had money like flowing because I was doing client work and stuff like that, and
Hmm.
I knew that my skill level was it was getting up there. So I knew that for me to take my stuff to the next level and to present myself to directors, other production companies, I had to learn how to use a cinema. I need to learn how to hold it. I need to make sure that I'm strong enough to hold it.
Hmm.
All of these different things kind of made me want to invest in that camera for the long term.
100%. 100%. It's something that I'm looking to get into soon. Obviously, with COVID, everything's kind of
Yeah, for
slowed.
sure. For sure.
um,
Lost a
how,
lot of projects.
yeah, a lot. How's it
Yeah.
been over there in terms of your like area? How is it finished?
My area specifically, so I'm in central New Jersey, which is about an hour away from New York City and like an hour away from like Philadelphia, two major cities.
Yeah,
New York City got hit like
bad.
crazy.
Yeah.
Currently at this state, New Jersey, where I am, we're pretty good.
Hmm.
Luckily for me, a lot of my clients are like pretty local.
Okay.
And I have a few that are on retainer. So I've been doing consistent work even
Yeah.
through COVID. Um, but as far as like me doing work in the city, that's slowed down like tremendously.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's so crazy.
Is
How
it bad over there?
so
Still?
bad, so
Still?
bad.
Yeah.
I feel like the UK's coped with it the worst. The UK
Yeah.
is so bad.
I
When
just heard today Donald Trump just got COVID today.
yeah, it's mad. Like it's completely mad. Our prime minister caught it a while back.
Huh.
But it seemed to recover so quick, and it just makes you
Yeah.
question it a little bit. But that's another topic,
Yeah, no,
anyway.
I feel you 100%.
um. Anyway, back onto what we're on about. So you've done music. So does what clients do you work with? Then have you ever done music videos? Is that something you're into? Or
I've done a few music videos. I think I'm more selective on
mhm,
music videos. Like I want to do more of them, but I don't think I'm like too into the like stereotypical rap music video. I think that it kind of turns me off and I'm more selective. Like if I get those projects, I'm not really into it too much. I want to do
mhm,
something a little bit more meaningful. Um, so that's I'm a bit more selective on music videos.
yeah,
But I do a lot more like advertising and commercial work.
nice.
For example, one of my clients is a bigger construction company.
Okay.
So I do consistent photo and video work for them for their social media ads and websites, stuff like that.
And how do you approach these clients? Do you just kind of like, do you want to tell a story for a business, or do you just kind of just approach them in terms of, just making a generic video?
So it depends really on what I see. Um, I think it has to work both ways.
Yeah.
When I for a specific client, when I reach out and I know that maybe there isn't a longer term relationship, maybe they're not down to do a retainer every month or something like that, but
Hmm.
they have this really cool specialty thing that could be a really cool one piece,
Yeah.
one film. So essentially, what I used to do, which I don't do anymore, is I would just reach out and just text, like write just my idea, and hopefully they would respond, and I would never get anything. So
Yeah.
what I've been doing recently is honestly taking about an hour or two out of my day and writing up a whole treatment, writing up a pitch, writing up a 2, 3 page proposal.
Hmm.
Even if I don't get it, um, I write everything down. I come up with stills, just as reference photos, reference videos, just so that's another thing for them to look at.
Of
And
course.
again, that goes back to the professionalism aspect and the
Mhm.
business side. Because if I just write down my idea, they're going to be like, maybe he's not too sure what he wants to do. But if I come with a 3-page document with photos and videos, they know that I'm serious and they have a visual representation.
100%. And even if they don't go with you, you still got that idea to then play with
Exactly.
for other companies, which
Yeah.
is it's smart. It's how everyone
Yeah.
should be
And
working, really.
that's something I did too. Like, for example, one of them, I was pitching to a barbershop and
Yeah.
I didn't get that one, but I ended up pitching to another barbershop and kind of used a similar template
Hmm.
from what I did last time and kind of changed it a little bit to cater it towards that one, but I didn't have to reset entirely.
Exactly. It's a perfect way of working, I think.
Yeah,
So anyone listening, definitely do that,
for
because
sure.
it just saves so much time as well. Because obviously, if something does go wrong, you still want to obviously do
Yeah.
that idea. So
Hmm.
you just send it to someone else who's
And
probably
it's
willing
just
to.
it's good practice too. Writing
Yeah.
kind of treatments, writing quotes, budgets,
Hmm.
proposals. It's really good practice, to be
Yeah,
honest. Yeah.
100%. That brings on the topic as a DP, because I know obviously you're really focused on DPing. But do you write in your spare time? Do you ever like come up with
I do actually. I write pretty often. Not that anything ever comes into like fruition,
yeah,
but I do have ideas and I try writing the best that I can. I think it's just a good exercise for me to get things out of my brain.
yeah.
Um,
How do you go? Like, how do you even start writing? Because I'm always intrigued. I've watched loads of YouTube videos on like how people do it.
like writing scripts or something like that.
Scripts could be scripts or like just story ideas in terms of for a business, for
Hmm.
example, or like how do you end up starting it? Do you start with the idea or the character or?
Um, so I have to really know what I'm talking. I have to really understand the person. I have to understand the business, understand the brand before I could even come up with anything. So if I wanted to pitch a video to this specific company, what I would do is essentially I would stalk everything about that company.
Yeah.
I would stalk their Instagram, their Facebook, their websites, everything about them, and just jot down notes about the company, things that I liked about it, things that I didn't like about it.
Hmm.
Um, and then pretty much just formulate some sort of like you got to sit sometimes. You got to sit and think.
Hmm.
Um, so there would be times where I would sit for like a day, sit for a day or two, and just think about what can this business benefit from. And then eventually something will come up, and then it just kind of like a snowball. But you don't really get that without doing the searching and the research on the
100%.
business or the person.
I think it's always good for us creators because, especially over here where I'm from, everyone's just like go, 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 go.
Hmm.
But I think personally, from personal experience as well, is having a little break and having these days where you just write ideas down. It doesn't even
Hmm.
have to be for a client, just ideas that you have in
Yeah,
general. Write them down and just take a few days not actually filming, because I feel like it always benefits you. You always come up with so
I
many like
agree.
better ideas
Yeah.
for future stuff. Um, but moving on to DPing, what's got you into that? Like, why have you chose DPing out of all? Well,
Um,
yeah,
Something I've always found to be hard for me was posing or model or just talking to models or actresses and actors. Like that was something that's always been hard for me.
hmm,
So I knew that being a sole director wouldn't be the best thing for me because I know that's a major part of that job is
yeah,
directing the actors and actresses. I've always found that framing things or kind of just being silent but letting the camera do the talking in a way is that kind of it it makes me feel good in a way.
hmm,
It like I don't know. It's just something that
it's
I
powerful.
find yeah. And I like to just I like colors.
Yeah,
I like colors, yeah.
yeah, I love
Um I like to be able
that.
to just visually look at things. It's pretty,
Yeah,
you know.
it is. It's so interesting. And is that something you studied? And do you study like compositions and obviously
Yeah,
editing and all that sort of stuff?
I study a lot to be honest with you. I have a bunch of different courses that I have.
Hmm.
I have a bunch of different books. I have these too. It's called the Cinematographer magazine. I read these all the time. Something else I have here is called the Master Shots.
That's it.
And essentially, it's just like a book full of different framings and
It's
all
like a
those.
massive mood board.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Yeah,
It's like,
and the other thing is I practice all the time.
yeah,
Me and
that's
my
where it is.
friends,
Like,
we're always practicing.
practice is everything. I know,
Hmm.
like, it's all right doing all the research and looking at books and whatnot, but if you're not doing if you're not practicing what you're searching for, then
Mhm.
it's just pointless.
Completely,
Um,
because like there would be times where I have a brilliant idea and I'll go to do it and realize, well, this isn't practical at all. Actually,
mhm.
I physically can't do this. So without actually doing things, you don't realize if things can actually work or not.
100%. And it's how you find your style. Is that one
Yeah.
thing you're trying to figure out right now? Because we're still young. I'm still trying to figure out
Hmm.
what I want to do, whether it's directing or editing or DPing.
Hmm.
But the more you work on things, are you starting to find your niche and how you
I
film?
think I think I'm definitely starting to find things that I like, and I definitely know when there's something I don't like. So
Yeah.
that's something that I've realized is I'm starting to get more. Um, I think my decision making is more profound now, and I could easily tell if there's something off about an image that I'm shooting.
Mm. No,
I
that's
don't
good.
know if there's a style that I have yet or anything, but I think it's slowly starting to develop in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a key thing to know. If you don't know your own style or whatever, then
Yeah.
it's hard to put a finger on it. But yeah, like I say, your work speaks for itself. Like especially just through YouTube, I didn't even see your client-based work. So
Mm. Thank you.
yeah, you're doing good, man. So
Thank
what's
you.
your motivation in terms of future, in terms of DP, and how what's your strategy? Have you got a strategy in terms of
Um,
where you want to be?
Honestly, the hard part for me right now is trying to balance owning a production company and being a DP.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what is going to take the balance in the future. So that's something I'm trying to work on mentally. And but as far as moving forward as a DP, I'm really trying to just get on as many sets as possible. Fortunately for me, I was able to get in con. I don't know if you know a guy. His name's Danny Gavertz. He's another YouTuber, filmmaker,
Yeah,
DP.
yeah, yeah. I think I do know. I
Yeah.
watch his stuff as
So
well.
yeah, so I'm good friends with him. I met him through Instagram, and I've been on a bunch of shoots with him. I shoot with him pretty often, and he introduced me to a really great production company that we do work for Nike and Converse and stuff like
Oh,
that.
nice.
So when I got in with them, I was production assistant, bare bones, just mopping floors. Um, but I knew like those experiences kind of humble you.
Yeah.
They make you realize that what your place is currently in the industry, and you could think that you're all good, but when you're on set doing a Nike or whatever, you're still you're an amateur.
Yeah.
So me understanding that and being humbled by that, um, I take all of those production assistant opportunities and just observe,
Mm-hmm.
watch what everyone's doing, how they interact with the client, the talent, whatever it is, and I take that back to my shoots, and I just try to keep working from there, from all the experiences I get.
100%. It's a tough industry because, like you say, I don't think it's the fact that you're an amateur. I just think I don't know. It is a weird industry. It is a very interesting
Yeah,
industry. Um,
because you're right. I don't know if I would consider myself an amateur, but I would consider myself a professional amateur,
yeah,
maybe.
like you
Because
get the
I make money from what I do, so I guess that means professional. But I'm not at any point where I want to be, so I'm
yeah.
still an amateur. And I understand what you're saying. Yeah,
It's just someone that's gonna have to give you that opportunity. I think that's what it is. I think that's what
I
filmmaking
think you're right.
always is. I think
Hmm.
it's just grabbing opportunities where you can, and obviously getting the right people that are gonna give you that opportunity. Because it's okay being on film sets, but if you're doing the same thing every single time and no one's giving you that opportunity which you
Hmm.
know you're worthy of,
Yeah.
it's kind of like pointless. And it happens a lot in this industry,
Hmm.
and I've heard a lot of stories like that. So it's all about knowing if it's going to
Yeah.
benefit you, one, and then
I
two,
think
like,
the I think another major thing that a lot of people maybe not forget but don't take into account too much is just being a good person.
yeah,
If
100%.
you're on set, if you're meeting a direct, just be a genuine, nice person,
Yeah.
because that really goes along. You're going to be on set with someone for 12 days or 12 days, 12 hours, whatever it is.
Hmm.
Um, you want to make sure that you could actually talk to the person, like enjoy each other's company,
100%.
which I find to be really just beneficial. Is just being super nice and just super grateful to be
100%.
wherever you are.
100%. I always talk about this, and I'll probably get a lot of stick from it behind my back. But I always say this industry is it's very egotistical.
Hmm.
And I don't mean to say that in a bad way, but it's just facts. And everyone knows that, like, everyone's got an ego in this industry.
Yeah,
Everyone does.
for sure.
But just don't let it take over you, and listen to other people's ideas, because
Hmm.
a lot of times they actually have some valid
Yeah.
points.
Yeah, there's been plenty of times where I've been on my shoots and people have come up to me and give me like an idea about something that completely blew me out of the water. Like I was like,
Yeah,
that's a brilliant idea.
exactly. It's just all about. I think it's teamwork, and
100%.
when you don't know how to listen and do teamwork, that's when it gets a bit more difficult to work with.
Hmm.
You know, those. You know, to be fair, I've never been on a big set, so I can't say anything at the moment. But I've just heard other stories from other people that have been on big sets. It's just all about working with the right people and working as a
Yeah.
team and always being
Hmm.
open-minded in this
Hmm.
industry, which is something that unfortunately is it's like 50-50, I guess. It just
Yeah.
depends who you get. Um, so I want to move on to YouTube a bit now because that's where I found you from. What made you start YouTube? Was COVID? What made you start YouTube? Or
I don't, it's something that I've always thought of and it's something I've always been afraid of just because I've tried it before. I have so many videos that I've never put out of me just trying to talk in front of a camera. And I think one day I just kind of said, screw it. I don't care anymore.
yeah,
Um, I'm just going to do it and see what happens. Like, right now, I don't have any goals for it really. I'm not
hmm
I'm not stressing myself out about it. I'm doing my best to upload once a week, trying to make sure it's as high as quality as I possibly can.
hmm
Um, and I know that there's mistakes in my YouTube. I know sometimes it's not the best, but I think my YouTube page is also just like a testimony to it's going to be my growth in a
100%,
way.
hundred
So
percent.
right now I'm just trying things.
Yeah. Well, it's great, man. It's good to see because it's also like from me doing YouTube as well. I feel like it pressures you to get a video out, so you're pressuring
Mhm.
yourself to actually learn and do more things,
Yeah,
which is a good
it
thing.
forces you to do
Yeah,
something. Yeah.
it
And
really
I like
does.
the community, even though I don't have like a lot of people following me at all. It's just like even in one or two, three people, it's really cool to see it.
It's a
Like
weird feeling, isn't it?
it's really weird, but it's awesome. I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's such a nice feeling. Like when someone, even like I don't get a lot of views. It's weird because my subscribers are going up, but my view count doesn't. But that
Hmm.
doesn't faze me. It's like 30 people, 100 people, 500 people have seen my video. That's amazing to me.
It's
If I
awesome.
put, I try vision it as a room full of people.
100%.
There's
Yeah.
30 people in the room. That's a lot of people.
It is a lot of people. Five people is a lot of people,
Yeah,
honestly, at a certain point. But yeah,
uh,
that's awesome.
it's crazy. So I know you said you really ain't got any goals for it, but have you got a structure or plan for YouTube? Like, do you plan out your videos, or do you just kind of see
Yeah, I do have, not that I don't have any goals for anything. I don't want to, I'm already stressed out about work and the company and DPing. I'm already so stressed out about that I don't want to make this just another thing.
Yeah,
I do set like guidelines for myself and kind of requirements that I need to upload at least once a week. Um, whether that be just a video that I completed that's a minute long project, or if it's a lighting breakdown or just some sort of tips or something like that, I need to have something. I have a list of a bunch of different video ideas and kind of whatever inspires me for that week. Um,
yeah.
I
And do you
kind of do.
usually
Or
write
if,
you usually write ideas down that you know is going to benefit you as well?
yeah. And the other thing that I do as well is whenever I do like spec projects or any sort of work, I always have YouTube in the back of my mind as a like second or third source of content besides what I'm making. So
Yeah,
every shoot I go on, I always bring a behind the scenes photographer, videographer every single time. Just because a lot of my videos are behind the scenes of what I'm actually making.
yeah, yeah. I get that. I get that a lot. Um, I think that's kind of everything I want to talk about. Only one thing I want to talk about now is kind of what you would say to people that are listening, especially because we're both so young, but especially with you with the experiences that you've had. What would you say to people that are trying to get into this industry and you know trying to get to the next level or be the next Spielberg?
Um, I'd say the best tip that I can give is just get off the get off your YouTube for a little bit and actually do something.
Hmm
That was the biggest thing for me that kind of changed the way that I shoot, or I think that kind of accelerated the quality of my work was just shooting things in and outside of my house.
Yeah.
Like if it's raining outside and you can't go out, shoot some sort of moody, rainy scene in your house.
hmm
Just being able to practice and find things that you like, you don't like, things that will go wrong that you might need to learn how to fix. All of those things are so crucial that you can't learn on YouTube.
Yeah, I
So
love
that's my tip, is just get out and shoot,
I love that.
or write, or edit, or color. Do something. Just do something.
Yeah, do something and don't sit there and
Yeah,
dwell.
do something and don't sit down.
Yeah, I love that. That's good. And just make it fun. I always tell
Oh
people,
yeah. Bring a friend along. Yeah,
yeah,
bring friends. Yeah, listen to some music. It's a great time.
yeah,
It really
100%.
is. Yeah,
I just love this industry. I just love the people that are in it, and just the whole vibe.
for
When you're
sure.
on set and everyone's just getting along and everyone's flowing ideas, and
Dude, it's awesome. It's a great community. I love it.
it's so good. I love it. Oh, one more thing I actually want to say before you leave. What's your favorite series or film?
My favorite series or film?
Yeah, yeah,
Ooh, favorite series. I'm gonna go right off the bat and say Ozark. Right off the bat, Ozark is phenomenal. Favorite movie. My favorite movie ever is Godfather, but maybe favorite current movie. It has to be. I'm stuck between The Joker or Jojo Rabbit, maybe, or Honey Boy. Honey Boy is really good.
Honey Boy is so good.
Honey Boy is really good.
That almost made
Um,
me cry. That was a good film.
yes, I think I did cry. I definitely did. Yeah, but Ozark, I can't even get over how beautiful that show is. I really
So
can't.
so so good. Literally, I'm a half.
Also, Stranger Things,
We'll,
Stranger
we'll,
Things.
we'll get
Yeah,
on perfectly fine.
yeah.
Yeah, that's my two favorite series on Netflix: Ozark and Stranger Things. I'm watching
Yep.
it for the third time.
Oh, dude, it's so good.
It's so good. But yeah, man, I appreciate your time. I think
Thank
like
you for having me.
general conversation today. I brought stuff down, but I didn't even look at it once.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, dude, conversations are cool. You don't, it's just chill, just
Yeah,
talking.
and
I
if I'm ever
appreciate you
down,
having me.
I'll pop you a message because I was in New York last year and we're looking to come back again this year.
Oh, yeah, dude, let me know. I'd love to meet up.
Yeah, hundred
I'm
percent.
only I'm only like an hour. I go to New York all the time, so it's easy for me.
Yeah, wicked. That'd be awesome to meet up.
Sweet.
All
Love
right,
that.
brilliant.
Thank you for
Thank you.
having me, man.
Appreciate your time.
Have a great day. Stay safe, brother.